If it were not for General Mkhwanazi, the full extent of this alleged cartel might have remained hidden in the shadows. But now, the spotlight is brighter than ever, and the revelations are growing more serious by the day. Julius Mkhwanazi is facing mounting allegations, with claims linking him to identity fraud and even murder. These are not minor accusations. They strike at the very core of law, order, and public trust. Tonight, we unpack the disturbing details behind a case that is sending shockwaves across the nation. What we are about to reveal is deeply troubling and raises urgent questions about the reach and power of this network. Welcome to Vox Trends.
The background of all that led to the arrest of the two applicants started when, in July 2025, Lieutenant General Nhlanhla Mkhwanazi called a press conference where he painted events that showed an assault on the criminal justice by the people who were entrusted to look after it. 4.2, the state president responded to this allegation by forming a commission of inquiry to investigate them. This commission is famously known as Madlanga Commission. This commission handed recommendations with names to the president, who were implicated by evidence in this commission as having played roles undermining criminal justice system by conducting themselves in a way that undermined the administration of justice to hold on to power. I then saw Viandra and Yako carrying the body from the house and threw it inside my baggie. And it was not covered, but the loosely fitted tracksuit-like jacket to the body. Mackenzie drove inside the yard and put the tires and mags inside the golf boot. Yago loaded welding machine and a small generator and another item that I did not see what it was inside, since his vehicle Renault Kwid. And another item that I did not see what it was inside his vehicle Renault Kwid. Julius was still inside the yard. There is evidence that person who were close to the applicant number one died in the hail of bullets. It also revealed that all those witnesses were about to blow whistles on corruption and murder in the municipality. Examples of those are: bullet point 1. It is public knowledge that the famous deceased witness D told the country that applicant 1 was called to the murder scene at 2 o'clock in the morning, 11 hours of the morning, where he ordered the disposal of the deceased body into the dam. In his statement, he gave to the police, a witness D listed several persons who were present when applicant 1 arrived at the scene. Your Worship, this statement is attached as Annexure A. I want to ask the court that I will read it after I have read the affidavit, because it is longer. This included the deceased potential witness who called him to the scene. That is Yako Hanekom, who is under Boksburg CAS 2163 of 2013. That is the docket of that witness, the dead witness. Another person who was present was one Willem Pretorius, under Brakpen 139 2025, attempted murder, and Sergeant Khoza of Tsakane CAS 27510 of 2025, that is murder in that one. One thing is common about them is that they all died from bullet wounds. It would be reckless of me to ignore these hard facts, especially when they are dealing, when they are already in the public domain. I feel duty bound as the officer responsible for the public order to bring this to this court attention. These events inspire fear in the investigations.
The state is telling the court this did not start with a police tip. It started with a commission. Names were given to the president, a task team was formed, and Julius Mkhwanazi is one of the results. Now, to understand exactly why this court moment is so devastating, we need to go back. We need to go back to the Madlanga Commission, because what Mkhwanazi said there, in his own words, is what followed him into that courtroom. Roll the tape.
Yako suggested that they should call their chief, whom they called Julius. And he turned around and said he was going to call Mkhwanazi, whom he said he was his chief. He then used his phone to call him. Julius Mkhwanazi arrived a few minutes later and he introduced himself as Superintendent Julius Mkhwanazi to myself and Etienne. Viandre then spoke to Mkhwanazi and said, quote unquote, "Chief, it's that time again." They then discussed the manner in which the body can be disposed of, and it was decided that I should follow them. I walked to my bakkie and the EMPD member was following me. Viandre instructed me that my bakkie will be loaded with the body of the deceased. Thereafter, I should not worry because I will be covered. If we go overleaf again at page 76, paragraph 16, he speaks of other matters, but at the last line of paragraph 16, he knows Julius was still in the yard supervising the whole issue of disposing the body. At 17, paragraph 17, he states they closed the doors, Yako and Etienne. I was instructed to follow them. They pulled out of the yard and I did as well. I also left and drove off. So the other version of events we have is as narrated by witness D in this statement, which he deposed to about 5 months after the incident, 30th September 2022. And I suggest to you that that is the correct factual position of what happened.
May I comment?
Yes, please, I invite you to.
If the investigating officer who interviewed him, she's the one who was sitting here and telling the entire country and telling the commission that witness D lied in his statements. He gave many different versions. You see, why I'm saying that, I read the statement that is submitted. I also read this, I also listened to this many times. You see, I'm not sure, do you want us to discuss the whole statement, or do you want me to stick to this? You see,
No,
because
for the moment, let's confine ourselves
the investigating officer is the one that she was saying, said that this man spoke, he gave people different versions, you see. And why I'm saying that, I won't touch on many other issues, you see. I was not there, and he confirmed that I was not there. Secondly, in the other statement, it talks about officers who were carrying firearms, you see, waiting for him. But in the other statement, there's no person who can forget a person who's carrying a firearm, want to kill himself, or want to kill him. Humble apologies for saying that. Who want to kill him, you see. But in the other version, it doesn't say so. And again, he's saying, I'm coming back to you. He's saying, I spoke to, it's what I've said, I spoke to Yako. And we were discussing, how did he hear that we're discussing about that? Because the few minutes or the few times that I've said, or for the few minutes that I've said, I've spoken to Yako. You see, I was not even close to them. And he is confirming that I was not even close. But he's concluding that we're discussing about what he claims or what he alleged, because I didn't do that. I must mention, you see, that I was discussing about the dumping. How did I know that was about? Because we didn't even discuss about any dead person.
Commissioner, perhaps it will be helpful if you, well, not perhaps, for sure, it will be helpful if you told us what it is that you are disputing that Mr. van der Merwe said in the statement and in his evidence, which you say are contradictions that relate to you, because he makes specific allegations, and for purposes of this conversation, at paragraph 14 of his statement, he says, Yako suggested that they call you. Now, on your own version, Yako did call you, so we know Mr. Van der Merwe is not lying,
Yes.
right? When he says he was going to call you, he used his phone to call you, so there's no dispute there. He says you arrived a few minutes later and introduced yourself as Superintendent Julius Mkhwanazi to himself and Etienne. Now, you must tell us what contradiction in his evidence he made to this part of his statement, because he says you introduced yourself to himself and Etienne. Now, if you say he told different versions, you must tell us this is the other version about this that he said. And then in that same paragraph, he says, Viandre then spoke to Mkhwanazi and said, Chief, it's that time again. You must tell us where and how he contradicted himself on this allegation that is in the statement. And then he says, you then discuss the manner in which the body can be disposed of. And you must tell us, if you say he contradicted himself here, is this another, did he contradict himself on this aspect? And where did he contradict himself? Is it in the witness box? What did he say about it? And then he says, it was decided that I should follow them. I walked to the bakkie, and the EMPD member was following me. Viandre instructed me that the bakkie will be loaded with the body of the deceased, therefore I should not worry because I will be covered. I'm more interested in you being specific about the contradictions that relate to you. That what do you say he said in contradiction, and where is that contradiction contained? Is it in a later statement? Is it in his evidence? I think it will help our discussion instead of going wild and discussing everything about his evidence.
Chair, I will just limit to two things, but before we finish, I will just touch on many issues that I've identified. Like the one that I touch of firearms. Number one, I spoke to Yako, not Viandre, not Etienne. You see, I spoke to Yako.
About that, you say he contradicted himself.
No,
there's a difference between what you are denying. If you say it's untruthful, it's not correct that I spoke to Viandre, right? That's one thing, and you can say that if that's what you want to say. But you've said he contradicted himself. And I'm more interested in those contradictions. But you can deny also what he said. But if you're going to insist that he contradicted himself where it relates to you, it's helpful that you point us to those contradictions that relate to you and where he contradicted himself. After giving this statement, where did he speak again? Is it in another statement? Is it in the evidence before the commission that he contradicted himself about your involvement or what he alleges about you?
For now, let me use that I deny.
Okay.
I thought we were talking about the whole, but now we're saying limited to this paragraph.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. No, for my question, that's what it is.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Maybe let me complete this in fairness to you. So in that paragraph 14, I'm still at that paragraph 14, right? We've agreed from your own account that where he says Yako called you and you arrived, that is correct, right? Yako did call you.
Yes, you're correct.
And you did arrive because of that call from Yako.
Yes.
Okay. He then says you introduced yourself to himself. This is Mr. Van der Merwe and Etienne. Do you admit that?
No, I didn't introduce myself
Okay.
to, and I can't introduce myself to Etienne. Etienne knows me, you
Yes.
see, and I can't introduce to him because he doesn't know me. I don't know. I didn't even speak to him. I didn't even come close to him.
So you didn't meet him and Etienne?
No,
Okay.
no.
And then he says, then Viandre then spoke to Mkhwanazi and said, Chief, it's that time again. Do you admit that?
No, I deny that.
You deny
Yes.
that, okay? And then he says, they then discussed the manner in which the body can be disposed of. And it was decided that I should follow them. Do you accept that? Do you deny that?
I've been denying that, Commissioner.
All right. Thank you.
Yes. Another thing that I want to add, you'll correct me. He says that I introduced myself as Chief Superintendent.
It's as superintendent.
No. In the other statement, he says,
it says as superintendent here.
yeah, he says as Superintendent. In the other statement, he says, I introduced myself as Chief Superintendent.
Why would witness D wish to implicate you in something so serious if you were not involved at all and he didn't see you, he did not speak to you? Why would he come public and want to implicate you in something so serious?
Remember, Commissioners, they've said to them, it's either they call General Khan or they call or Chief Mkhwanazi. I think by mentioning these two names to him, and whilst they've said that, then there's this person who's appearing, you see. You may conclude, oh, that's why they've said. Maybe it was, if it was not me, another person, they were going to implicate him too.
But he
Because
says,
before that,
just pause there. He says you introduced yourself, so he knows that it's you. And it was you who said that he must dump the body in the Niger River.
No,
So he's not guessing, he says it was you. My
No.
question is, why would he implicate you in something that serious if he does not know you and you were not there?
Commissioner Khumalo, let me correct you. He's saying it's either, it's Viandra who told him that I've said. He doesn't say I've said. You see, he said I've said. But out of what they told him before, and it is me who's appearing, he may conclude that that means this is what they were saying.
So are you saying he's guessing, he doesn't know that it was you who said the body must
I
be dumped?
didn't, yes.
But he mentions you. Why doesn't he say General Khan or the other general? Why does he say Julius Mkhwanazi is the one who directed that the body be dumped in the dam?
That's why I'm saying that. That's what I'm saying, that they've said to them, according to statement, or to him, according to statement, let us call General Khan or let us call Chief Mkhwanazi. Yeah. Then Chief Mkhwanazi appears.
No, they say they then concluded that they should call the Chief Mkhwanazi.
That's what I'm saying.
And he arrived and he introduced himself and he directed that the body be dumped in the dam. My simple question is, if you were never there and you never saw him, why would he implicate you in something so serious? I mean, this is serious, dumping a human being's body in a dam. It's not like stealing money or stealing stones.
Now we go back to the Boksburg Magistrates Court, because what the state then placed before the magistrate, piece by piece, is what every question at the Madlanga Commission was building toward. Roll the tape.
They said that they should call their chief, whom they call Julius. And he turned around and said he was going to call Mkhwanazi, whom he said he was his chief. He then used his phone to call him. Julius Mkhwanazi arrived a few minutes later, and he introduced himself as Superintendent Julius Mkhwanazi to myself and Etienne. Viandre then spoke to Mkhwanazi and said, Chief, it's that time again. Close quote. Then they discussed the manner in which the body can be disposed of. And it said that I should follow them. I walked to my buggy, and the EMPD member was following me. Viandre instructed me that my buggy will be loaded with the body of the deceased.
Though it is complete speculation on my part at this stage, I believe that my arrest has been orchestrated by individuals for ulterior and nefarious political motives.
people, please, I want all the cell phones to be off. This is very inconvenient. May I proceed?
Thank you, Bishop. It is no secret that I have made known my aspirations of applying for the position of Chief of Police, which office will become vacant at the end of the year. Of course, my arrest and prosecution negatively impacts my eligibility for the role, if not, in fact, bars me completely from being considered for it. 28. In similar vein, I reiterate the inherent implausibility of the narrative of the state's case. Respectfully, it is notionally absurd to the person, the second applicant, to pay a bribe of 400,000 rands to free him up to attend an important job interview and avoid a court appearance and/or, in brackets, the state allegations are vague in regard to the precise quid pro quo to the bribe, to avoid the consequences of a speeding-related offence. Respectfully, common sense and experience suggest that the former could simply have been remedied by way of the presiding officer being informed of the importance of attending the job interview and prior arrangements being made for an appearance at an appropriate time of day on the date of the court appearance. In my experience, this occurs every day in our courts, with presiding officers accommodating accused persons in this regard. Alternatively, an accused person could choose, admittedly also dishonest, the quick and easy solution of obtaining a medical certificate, which I recently read practitioners often sell to truants at the princely sum of £100 or so. Furthermore, and directed at the state's contention that the bribe was paid for the avoidance of the consequences of the speeding-related bribe, as a seasoned EMPD officer, which sentiment I respectfully submit the presiding officer will no doubt share, such offences attract fines of a few thousand rands, hardly anything remotely to the tune of 400,000 rands. 29. Adding to this implausibility in the state case.
Now connect what you just saw. At the Madlanga Commission, Julius Mkhwanazi could not explain why a dying man would name him. He said witness D was confused. He said the investigating officer was unreliable. He said he was not even close to anyone at that scene. Then he said, in his own words, that he was discussing the dumping. In a Boksburg court, the state answered every one of those denials. They read the dead man's sworn affidavit. The man who called Mkhwanazi to the scene, dead. The man who said, "Chief, it's that time again," dead. The man who watched Mkhwanazi supervise a body being loaded into a pickup truck, dead. All three shot, all three named in court. And the man who the state says stood in that yard and supervised, he is now asking for bail, telling a magistrate it is all a political conspiracy to stop him becoming chief of police. The bail decision is pending. A murder investigation is building. And Marius van der Merwe, witness D, spoke his last words into a sworn statement before someone put a bullet in him. Those words are now a court exhibit. The walls are not just closing in on Julius Mkhwanazi. Some of them have already fallen.
As this story continues to unfold, the implications grow more profound. Allegations of this magnitude demand transparency, accountability, and a thorough pursuit of justice. What began as a glimpse into a hidden network is quickly evolving into a case that could redefine everything we thought we knew about this cartel and those connected to it. We will continue to follow every development and bring you the facts as they emerge. Stay informed, stay vigilant, and remember, the truth always finds its way to the surface. Thank you for watching Vox Trends.